Before you watch, please note, the following account contains disturbing details and graphic descriptions. Viewer discretion is advised. In the quiet suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, behind a facade of everyday normalcy, an unimaginable nightmare festered for over a decade. Ariel Castro, a seemingly unremarkable man who blended effortlessly into his community, transformed his modest home into a labyrinth of terror. Between 2002 and 2013, he abducted 3 women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus, and imprisoned them in concealed cells deep within his basement. Their lives were stolen in broad daylight, and in the silence of those hidden chambers, unspeakable horrors unfolded. Castro's reign of terror began in 2002 when Michelle Knight was violently ripped from her life and plunged into a living hell. Isolated from any semblance of the world she once knew, Michelle was forced to endure endless physical beatings and psychological degradation. Less than a year later, Amanda Berry was seized from the relative safety of her surroundings, and by 2004, the youngest of the trio, Gina DeJesus, was snatched away, her future forever darkened by the clutches of her captor. Each woman was condemned to a reality where hope was a scarce commodity, rationed like a forbidden luxury in a place designed solely to break the spirit. Deep within Castro's home, the basement had been gruesomely partitioned into a series of claustrophobic cells. These tiny, oppressive spaces, marked by rusted door locks, peeling paint, and walls bearing the grim residue of relentless violence, served as the stage for daily torment. The physical evidence left behind was chilling. Deep bruises and scars chronicled endless cycles of abuse, while bodies weakened by starvation and perpetual fear showed signs of chronic neglect. The pervasive stench of decay mingled with the metallic tang of blood, a haunting reminder of every silent cry for mercy that went unanswered. Inside these dark confines, the captives suffered not only physical injuries but also a crushing psychological assault. Their lives became a twisted routine of terror, days punctuated by brutal beatings, nights spent in the suffocating darkness of isolation, and moments of brief respite that were always overshadowed by the looming threat of further violence. In whispered conversations and furtive glances, the 3 women forged a desperate pact to reclaim their stolen lives, even if every step toward freedom was laced with unbearable fear. A timeline of horror emerges. 2002, Michelle Knight is kidnapped, dragged into a nightmare without warning. 2003, Amanda Berry is abducted, her future altered in an instant. 2004, Gina DeJesus, barely a teenager, is taken into the depths of despair. 2013, the decade-long nightmare abruptly ends. On May 6, 2013, the silence was shattered. Amanda Berry, summoning a courage born of years of suppressed terror, managed to break free. Her desperate scream, raw and blood-chilling, cut through the night, sending shockwaves through the neighborhood and forcing a swift response from law enforcement. Within hours, police stormed the house, peeling back the layers of deception to reveal a meticulously concealed prison. Hidden cells, makeshift restraints left to rust in the damp, moldy air, and personal belongings of the captives painted a horrifying picture of systematic abuse. The investigation that followed uncovered a trove of evidence documenting every facet of Castro's cruelty. Forensic experts painstakingly catalogued physical injuries ranging from severe contusions to long-term skeletal damage caused by repeated beatings. Medical reports revealed chronic malnutrition, untreated wounds, and signs of psychological trauma that would haunt the survivors for years to come. Personal items, faded photographs, handwritten notes, and even discarded articles of clothing served as grim tokens of the lives that had been brutally stolen.
Breaking news.
Ariel Castro was swiftly apprehended and faced charges totaling over 900 counts, including kidnapping, rape, and aggravated assault. The magnitude of his crimes stunned a nation that had long believed evil to be a distant, almost abstract concept. Castro, who had once mingled with neighbors and even held a semblance of community respectability, had concealed his monstrous activities behind a veneer of normalcy. His chilling ability to live a double life, one of quiet suburbia by day and unspeakable horror by night, forced the public to confront the terrifying reality that evil can reside in the most unassuming places. Beyond the physical horrors, the psychological scars inflicted on Michelle, Amanda, and Gina were profound. Isolated from the world and stripped of all human dignity, they lived in a perpetual state of fear and uncertainty. Their eventual escape marked not just the end of physical confinement, but also the beginning of a long, arduous journey toward healing. A journey marred by nightmares, flashbacks, and the heavy burden of lost time. The case also shed light on the failure of social and legal systems to detect the signs of abuse hidden in plain sight. Neighbors recalled odd noises and unexplained odors emanating from Castro's home, yet the true extent of the horror remained obscured until that fateful day. In the wake of the rescue, authorities faced intense scrutiny, and the case prompted reforms aimed at improving missing persons databases and bolstering law enforcement training to recognize and act on subtle indicators of long-term abuse. Adding another layer of grim irony to this tragedy, Ariel Castro's personal history was a mosaic of contradictions. Once perceived as a charming, if reclusive figure, Castro's past was marred by minor criminal behavior and hints of psychological instability, red flags that, in hindsight, painted a disturbing portrait of a man capable of unimaginable cruelty. As his crimes came to light, his final act of self-destruction, committing suicide in prison, served as a cowardly escape from the accountability that his actions so rightfully demanded. His death closed the legal chapter on one of the most disturbing cases of captivity in modern history, yet it left behind an indelible trail of shattered lives and a legacy of unresolved pain. The haunting story of Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus continues to echo through the corridors of collective memory, serving as a stark reminder of how easily darkness can hide behind ordinary doors. Their ordeal, marked by the physical and emotional scars of relentless abuse, has inspired countless discussions about the nature of evil and the resilience of the human spirit. It has also spurred efforts to ensure that no other victim remains hidden in the shadows, urging communities to remain ever vigilant. This chilling chapter in true crime history has not only been dissected in countless documentaries and podcasts, but has also led survivors to advocate for victims of abuse everywhere. Their courage to speak out, to share the harrowing details of their captivity, has paved the way for new conversations about the urgent need for systemic change. The legacy of this case is one of both profound tragedy and remarkable resilience, a duality that continues to haunt and inspire in equal measure. If you found this account compelling, please like, subscribe, and share, so that these stories of survival and the relentless pursuit of justice are never forgotten. And remember, behind every closed door, darkness may be waiting.